You just got $1 trillion.
If you spend $1 trillion.
Not a million. Not a billion. $1 trillion.
Hey, who's doing these animations? These don't look good, I ain't gonna lie.
But there's a catch. You need to spend all of it in the next 24 hours, or you lose everything. This should be easy.
How you want me to spend $1 trillion in the next 24 hours?
First, you need a new car. Go to your local exotic dealership and buy yourself a Lambo. And a Ferrari. And a McLaren. You know what? Just buy up the entire dealership. Now, you have the $12 million garage of your dreams. But there's one small problem. In order to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours, you would need to buy out that entire dealership every single second. You need to think bigger. Let's hire 100 people to track down the 100 most expensive yachts and buy them for us. And let's throw in $1 million bonus for each mercenary. That'll be around a $40 billion check, but let's also buy the biggest cruise ship of all time for $2 billion and fill it up to maximum capacity, paying for everyone's tickets and tossing in a Rolex too. Let's make use of this ship's basketball court by buying up every single NBA team and having them battle it out. Then let's get Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce to perform for us before sending them off to the International Space Station on a SpaceX rocket that costs $55 million per passenger. Now that you're hanging with rich people, you need a status symbol. You could buy the world's most expensive art piece for $500 million, but why would you do that when you could just buy the entire Metropolitan Museum of Art for $100 billion, and then we could—
Hold on, this is stressing me out. Hold on, this is stressing me out. Because all this bread that's being spent is not even taking a tip of at the $1 trillion. This is stressing me out. Hold on.
go over to— Transaction failed. There's no way we're already out of money. Yeah, we still have $800 billion. The Metropolitan Museum is an educational institution whose assets are held for the public benefit and are not owned by— You know what? Forget about the Met. The entirety of New York City is worth around $1.3 trillion. There are currently 33,210 vacant units available, so let's hire 33,000 people to snatch those up for us, and of course throw in a $100K commission. But here's something you need to think about. The most expensive real estate purchase in US history was this $240 million concrete brick. That might sound like a lot of money, but you spending $240 million is like an average person spending $60.
Wait, but think about it. If they want you to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours or else you lose it all, you're still fried, because even when you do spend $1 trillion, how are you going to keep up with everything that you just bought? Because you still have to pay the bills and everything on there.
I think instead of buying houses, you should build a mega project. The sky is truly your limit. You can build your project wherever you want.
Yo, that looks beautiful. Holy, I have to get this as a thumbnail.
If there's people in the way, buy them out with your pocket change. Or maybe try the Saudi Arabia method and relocate them into a graveyard. Actually, I think the Middle East is exactly where we need to go. So let's buy one Gulfstream G650 for each day of the year and fly across the world. Welcome to the Arabian Peninsula, where people will build literally anything. The world's biggest picture frame.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know these things were in the world. Oh, I feel like a little kid right now. I didn't even know these things existed in the world.
World's largest clock, the massivest cube, the tallest structure ever, man-made sinking islands shaped after the world map from memory. These are cool. Let's build an even bigger artificial island for $20 billion. Of course, we can't forget about labor cost, so for that, let's budget in $10. Then let's buy every single one of those mega projects I just showed you for a total donation of $101,292,000,000 and $10 to our Middle Eastern boys. But while you're here, take a look at the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building in the world. If you were to stack $1 bills to the very top, the tower would be worth $7.58 million. You still need to spend 87,000 times that. A stack so high it would go past the International Space Station. If you ever want to spend this money, you need to stop thinking in real estate and start thinking in 51st state. Do you see where I'm going with this? Buy a country. In 2010, the country of Liechtenstein put itself on Airbnb at 70 grand a night. This is literally nothing. You can't be looking at countries hoeing themselves out for pennies. You need the ultimate prize. Somewhere cooler.
Is that Greenland?
Somewhere strategic. Let's buy Greenland. Based on the market price of its mineral—
See, if y'all didn't know, let me put y'all on game. So Iceland is the reverse of Greenland. So Iceland is green and Greenland is ice.
Reserves, the world's biggest island has a price tag of around $200 billion. We can afford that. But there's one small thing in our way. During Trump's first term, when he proposed the conquest of Greenland, the country dismissed the idea as completely ridiculous and firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale.
Why not?
Huh. Let's buy an F-35 for $80 million. Fuck it. 2 F-35s. 3, 10,
4,
100. 2 aircraft carriers, 3 destroyer ships, 1 ballistic missile submarine, 57,000 Blackwater soldiers, 1 for every citizen of Greenland. Now we have a $50 billion makeshift military, and it looks like Greenland's for sale after all. But by this point in your trillionaire spending spree, people are starting to take notice. Your exploits might not have hit TikTok yet, but rumblings are beginning behind closed governmental doors. Luckily for you, there's not much politicians can say once you own them. Buy a politician. We got Trump here for $1.5 billion, Kamala is almost $2 billion, but you do get a free Joe Biden. Let's buy up both of those and every sitting member of the Senate and House for a grand total of $7.2 billion for the entirety of American politics. This is a great deal, but there's a catch. Money influences politics, but it doesn't always decide it. I mean, look at the presidential race. Democrats outspent Republicans and still lost because $2 billion can't buy aura. More recently, Elon dropped millions of dollars campaigning for an election in Wisconsin, only to find out that shit no longer works when everyone hates you. Even BlackRock doesn't always get what they want. $1 trillion gives you access to almost everything, but culture and public perception are things that are not for sale. Just kidding. Let's buy every single media company. The Washington Post, Time Magazine, the New York Times, Comcast, Fox. Global ad spend for an entire year is around $1 trillion. That averages to $3 billion a day. So let's run 1 week straight of propaganda and we should be good. But if you're still getting heat, there's one final method you can use. A donation a day keeps the guillotine away. It's time for philanthropy. There are a lot of causes to choose from, but you should start off with the people most in need. The US government. America is currently $36 trillion broker than a homeless person. That number is increasing by $2 trillion a year.
If this is only $1 trillion, $36 trillion. I can't even fathom that amount of money, bro.
Luckily, we now have you. $220 billion honestly isn't gonna do much, but it's definitely gonna help. Assuming, of course, that the US government efficiently manages a $250 billion cash injection. You might be wondering how you're gonna send the money. And the answer is pay.gov, an official website where you can make donations to the US government to reduce the public debt. So let's just enter in your $220.
I'm not gonna lie, if you're doing this, you're absolutely fried, and your money is not going towards a good cause. Sorry, have to break it to you. Sorry.
$20 billion right here, and well, turns out the maximum amount the Treasury accepts is only $1 million. You just bought the government a bag of screws from Lockheed Martin. Maybe your money will put a bigger dent into medical debt. See, unlike the government, broke people dying of cancer aren't allowed to print more money to pay off their crippling obligations. Instead, their unpaid debts get sold off to collections for pennies on the dollar. But because of this discount, charities like Undo Medical Debt can erase $100 worth of debt for every $1 donation they receive. And with that ratio, you could wipe out all the medical debt in the US for just $2.2 billion. But what about world hunger? The UN estimated it would take $40 billion each year to end world hunger by 2030. We could afford that. Next, how about we help out malnourished and starving college students? Student loan debt in the US totals $1.777 trillion, with the government loaning out $87.2 billion a year. But before we try to attack this, there's a slight problem. Once universities catch wind that trillionaire Jesus is bailing out their victims, they'll
Hey, chill out. Don't be playing with my God like that, though. Just calm down, all right? Relax.
Probably just jack up their prices. On top of that, paying off loans might be seen as unfair to older generations who had to pay their way through college and pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Turns out philanthropy isn't as easy as it seems.
It's not easy. Building Amazon was not easy. Philanthropy is very similar. It's really hard.
I agree with Jeff here. Let's just buy another $500 million yacht. That's enough philanthropy for today. You still have $60 billion left, and I think I know how to spend it. It might be semi-cheating, but hear me out. 37% of Americans can't afford an unexpected purchase over $400. Being a trillionaire, your passive income earns you $400 every 0.126 seconds.
Oh my.
The median net worth under 35 is $39,000. As a trillionaire, you could exchange your toilet paper with rolls of $39,000 bills for your entire lifetime and it wouldn't put a dent in your finances. $1 trillion gives you horizons incomprehensible to—
Hey, look, trillionaire, lend your boy like at least 100 billion. I'll break you off. Actually, you don't need no more money. I'll break it off. Get me a nice little stream setup. Give me a nice crib. Make sure everybody eating, and then we good, right?
the normal paycheck to paycheck living human. Even after your spending spree, you still have so much money left that it gives you too many options. You could launch space programs, clean up the ocean, fund institutions. 24 hours just isn't enough time for this much fun. So let's buy more time.
How?
Make yourself a trust and safely store your money in it. Now, all of those humanity shifting endeavors, you can sleep on them. On the world's most expensive bed.
Wait, okay, I understand what he's saying about the trust, but this dude literally just said at the beginning of the video, if you don't spend it within 24 hours, you lose it all. Which makes sense. Okay, I'm low-key slow. If you put it in a safe thing where nobody can access it, you good. That's just generational wealth at that point. You can take out like $10,000 like every minute and you good, bro. Do I think I can spend a trillion dollars in one day? Heck nah, boy. Look, I'm gonna tell you why. Look, because the stuff that I see for myself, like I want to have like multiple cars. I want to have a nice big house and all this other stuff. But like, bruh, with all that stuff he just mentioned, and even in New York, one of the most expensive places in this country, I'm not even putting a dent in that trillion, bruh. The only thing I could see me doing that'll help me get like $1 trillion off is if I do 95% philanthropy and then do like the other 5% personal expenses and finances and contributing towards my bloodline. That's the only thing I know to do. But even then, it might take me 10 hours to get 100 billion sent to this place, and then another like 10 to get done with that place, and then they're gonna be 4, and it's like I gotta have sleep, so that's like 8, 9, 10. Bruh, nah.